Again, brothers and sisters, how is your relationship with God, with Jesus Christ? Are we doing works of faith by faith in Him who sent us and who prepared us, furnished us to do all good works? Well, um, I'm just seeing that there's a bit of a lack of faith. I think Jacob Israel, has got that channel that did a nice video on that recently. And I just want to tell you a little bit. I met someone a few days ago on my travels, and I've heard so many stories. I've tried to share some of them on YouTube, but this particular story, the lady's talking about her dad, who is a true Christian, and who the local, what they call fetish priests or pagans, we might call them back home, tried to get them to worship idols. And because he didn't do it, they put a curse on one of his children. Um, so I'll leave that testimony straight after this, but it's just a little thing to let you know that yes, indeed, witchcraft is real, is very much alive in Africa, and there is serious conflict going on all the time, as I've tried to explain um, on this channel. But I know a lot of you are going through similar things in America and definitely in Europe, but it's more subtle in Europe, I think, that people don't realize it's there so much, but it is there, in the mainstream media. But they make it look friendly. They make it look like Harry Potter's a superhero or something like that, and all this kind of stuff. I know some serious things going on, of course, on the earth. Spiritual warfare is always happening. You finish one battle, you go on to the next. I mentioned I had a significant victory here, spiritual warfare, but I did mention that just one of them, one of that family is a little bit mentally ill. They used her again to do something, which I posted on my updates, which I know that YouTube actually cut the paragraphs that I wrote about that. So I wrote about, let's say, 3 or 4 paragraphs, but they cut it back to one. So anyway, I've been in prayer, and obviously I've been getting some good advice past few days. So God is still working in my life and in my situation. Of course, some of you have been following my videos. It's about my child here. It's about my child here. It's the reason I'm here, And so I give Yahweh glory, as usual. Yeshua Messiah glory. And if Chris LaSalle is willing to help out in this woman's situation, I left him a little message on his channel. If you want to go ahead and try to pray for this woman, which I actually did for an hour. And what happens when you start to pray for someone in a deliverance prayer, the demon will sometimes put thoughts into their head. They could make them panic. They could make them drowsy, sleepy. Kind of everything was going on at once. And I think that before I was getting some breakthrough, I noticed she was wearing you'll notice in the video, she's wearing a red piece of string on her right hand. And as most of us know that have studied the occult, that's what occultists do to their little drones. You make somebody a drone. That's what they do. In other words, they kind of mind control them. So this woman needs, like, obviously serious deliverance prayer, which, when you hear her testimony, your heart does go out for her. But at the same time, there's a kind of a mind control demonic stronghold going on that needs also to be broken. Somebody needs to get that red string off. And she took me to someone who was in her church, and they refused to take it off as well. So the church is actually called Royal House, I think it is. So they're making their so-called prayer warriors wear red string in their right hand, which is occult. So one of the pastors was just telling me about that as well, just confirming what I'm telling you now. So anyway, the woman's name, I believe, is I forget, but listen to the testimony and you'll see.
So when I was, then when I asked her, he said my father told me that when he was there, they were worshiping idols. They want him to worship the idols. Then when they were worshiping the idols, then my father, they asked my father. My father says he's attending church, so you cannot worship God and worship the idols. Then later they lied to my my real mother, and my mother too was with them worshiping. So they wanted to kill my father, then they could not able to kill him. And later when they just did that, then when they saw that my father pregnant my mother, my mother was working at Unilever Limited. So upon it, when he was working at Unilever Limited, he was a master there, so he used to come in the house in the evening time by 11:30. So upon it, when they just did that, then they saw that when my mother was coming to deliver me, then they just follow him to the hospital. So when they followed him to the hospital, then they said the day that my father will name me, my hand should pain me and my leg should pain me, and the evil spirit should enter into my stomach, so that maybe if I grow, I should not get a work to do. I should not get a man to marry. I should be like a mad person. So later, when my father was coming to name me, then they saw that he saw that one of my hand was paining. My hand just did like that. In my leg too, spot. And the left side, this side, have just make like this. And upon it, the evil spirit came upon my stomach. If I'm doing the correct thing, the evil spirit will just let me do the wrong thing so that my father will be insulted. So upon it, when my father just saw that this my hand was paining me, he sent me to an hospital. So when he sent me to the hospital, then they they said they could not able to. Later when I went to the Church of Royal House Chapel, then they prayed for me and they said how my father just told me is the same thing that the pastor too just said. They said one day I was sleep. This sickness will return back to the person who just let it came on me. That person, one hand will be like how my hand has just. Then I'll get a man to marry, and no one to make a people to upon those who does not like my matter. They will do what they will be ashamed upon themselves. So that's how this so I was not born like this. Those people wanted to kill my father. They're the one who made this my man.
Your father's still alive.
My father too is alive. I'm
Your
staying with
mommy is alive.
my father is alive. I'm staying with her. When I came to this area sessions, those people used to drink the alcohol and the smoking of the weed session. One of them saw me. They said they want to take me to be their wife, and I said we should study each other. So when we just did that, one armed robber just pregnant me. Then he ran away from this area. So when you run away from this area, then the church that I'm attending, that pastor who helped my father, and they take care of me. Then I just deliver the baby. So I'm with them. So as I was with them, then they just thank you very much. When I was help her for me, eh?
I think the Yahweh will is the only one that can help people.
Yes. NGO, eh? We used to
Jesus
work.
Christ.
We attend the same church. We attend the same church, Royal House. So upon
Mm.
it, that's why she's saying they heard what my father, they heard what the pastor just informed them. So upon it, how they just did that's why when he was praying, he just saw me upon it and he just said, so upon it, how they that guy. So now my daughter is with me with my father and my stepmother too. When the one that he has married, so sometimes he used to do a wrong things. When you do the wrong things, then they will
So
put
what's
it up.
your name
My
again?
name is called Agnes
Agnes.
Ayereza. Agnes
Agnes Iriza.
Ayereza. I'm a Nodman. I'm a
Iriza
Nodman.
is like a
Ayereza is AY.
tribal name.
No, we are coming from Navrungu. It's Upper East region. If you get to Burgatanga, people, those who used to speak the Fafa language, if you get to their own town, then you come to our own town.